You've watched the Amazon Prime Fallout TV show. Now let me help you get started playing the Fallout games. I call this the BADOWER Battle Brief to Fallout 1. I'm Jason BADOWER, a writer and a comic book artist for DC Comics. In my last video, I said that I believe that Fallout 1 from 1997 is the best place to start playing the Fallout video games. If you don't believe me or agree, then check out that video for why and 2 more jumping on points into the Fallout gaming universe. But if you're already sold on Fallout 1, then stick around as I blast through this as quickly and efficiently as possible. This video is for total non-gamers and experienced gamers alike. For experienced gamers, stick with me for now and then I'll tell you when to jump ahead. Non-gamers, stay right where you are. This is a guide for maximum fun with as few spoilers as possible. Here's the first thing you need to know about every single Fallout game. There is no way to see the entire game in one playthrough. You have to make decisions. The word decision comes from the Latin word decidere, which literally means to cut off. You will make a choice and literally cut off your other options. You cannot both kill someone and see what happens if you spare them. What, like Schrodinger's bad guy?
What's in the box?
Here's the thing, there are no bad choices, just your choices. Make your decisions and have fun. And this is also what makes the Fallout games so replayable. Did you play a nice person the first time? Play an absolute jerk in your next playthrough. Did you kill everyone? See what happens when you spare people. The build I suggest is designed to 1. Give you the most options to make your decisions, and 2. Be the most optimal in both conversations and combat. Playing Fallout 1. What is the gameplay of Fallout 1? Well, it's in a constant trimetric view, thanks Luke Stevens, so you're always looking down on your little vault dweller from the same angle as Diablo 1, which actually came out the same year. Fallout 1 has 2 time modes. The majority of the game is in real time as you guide your little wasteland wanderer around by clicking the mouse to move and interact with things. Point and click. You'll search areas for loot and try to figure out how to get to places that you shouldn't be. You'll click on people, open a little menu. One of those options is to start a dialogue with them. This is where you'll make the majority of your decisions, and while there's some voice acting, the majority is reading. But dialogue will also sometimes give you quests, information, barter options, and usually a good chuckle. This moment from the show captures the dark humor of Fallout pretty perfectly. When an enemy gets within range, the game becomes turn-based. You'll be trying to maximize the damage you deal while minimizing the amount of damage that you take. It is not an adrenaline-packed experience, but that doesn't mean it can't get pretty sweaty sometimes. It is about moving pieces around the board like a game of chess with guns and radioactive creatures. You will adventure across a massive wasteland which will take you anywhere from 20 to 30 hours, but I'm pretty sure I take much longer than that as I love to explore everywhere. This is a game about finding resources through searching and quest rewards, then spending as few of those resources as possible to solve each encounter. On the good side, you will have all the time you want to make any decision you want. The main thing you need to play is patience, especially at the start. Imagine this line is the difficulty curve. You're going to start below it, and this gap here is going to absolutely annoy the crap out of you. But me, I see that gap as a challenge, because the reward is that when your character gets above the curve, suddenly this gap becomes incredibly satisfying as the enemies that used to take your lunch money are now meat for your grinder. And I'll set you up so this gap gets bigger and bigger and you will monster your way through the game. For me, a huge part of the enjoyment of all the Fallout games is clawing your way over this line, and in later playthroughs, I'll sadomasochistically make it as hard for myself as possible. It is so satisfying to know that you have not just mastered, but triumphed over the mechanics of the game. I'm going to give you just what you need to get started. If for some reason you want to deeper dive into anything, these 2 guides were my base along with my own experiences playing the game. Experienced gamers who know all about GOG.com and Steam, jump ahead. For those new to video games, let's talk about GOG.com and Steam. First up, security. Both of these sites are about as secure as you can get. Millions and millions of people have accounts with them. I have accounts with both of them, and I've never received any spam nor had any false payments or been hacked. Please don't hack me, I'm just a guy making comic books and video games. These platforms are basically like iTunes for gamers, except you own what you buy. They make purchasing games super accessible as long as you have an internet connection. And if you don't, how on earth are you watching this video? On one hand, I believe that GOG.com is absolutely the best place to purchase any game that came out over 10 years ago. They optimize all these old games for new hardware. On the other hand, Steam has every game you could ever want except for maybe like Fortnite and Roblox, which are their own gaming platforms. I actually have Fallout on Steam, so I'm going to boot it up from there. Opening settings. In Steam, you're going to click play, which opens a little launcher. Hit play again. Skip the intro. We'll come back to it, I promise, as we're going to redo your screen settings. From the top left, put scaling on ×2 so everything looks clearer. You can see here that I have a 4K monitor, but I recommend only playing in 2560 at most, or your little characters are just going to be too small to even click on. Be aware on the Steam version of Fallout 1, you cannot Alt-Tab out of the game without crashing it. No idea if this works on the GOG.com version or not. Head next to Options, and then go to Game Preferences. Alright. I recommend on your first playthrough, leave it on normal. Leave combat difficulty on normal. It is up to you for violence level, how much you want to be. I would say the show would be on maximum blood. Target highlight, let's leave that as on. Combat messages are really up to you. I like to start verbose, and then as things go, I usually click this on to brief. Combat taunts, why not? Language, depends whether how offended you are by F-bombs and swearing. I turn it off. Running, always, absolutely put that on. Subtitles, always on. The reason why is that sometimes people on the map will start talking and you won't even notice that that's a person, but then suddenly you'll see a little speech balloon appear above their head. Item highlight, absolutely on. Combat speed, you absolutely must put this on fastest. If you are in a fight with 10, 15 different monsters, it will do each of their turns, and it could take 30 minutes to get through a single fight if you do not have this set. Fastest, you also want to speed up your attacks, so affect player speed. Text delay, let's leave that on slow. You can adjust that later if you'd like. I usually just put everything on normal, just to balance it like that, and I usually crank the brightness up just a touch. Mouse sensitivity on normal. You are now good to go. I recommend you watch the intro with the narration by Ron Perlman. I'll catch you after. Making a character for fun and profit. Make ourselves a Vault Dweller. Let's go to new game. There are a whole bunch of preset characters here. You are going to ignore them all, and we are going to make our own person. Your Vault Dweller in Fallout 1 is defined by 7 main stats called Special. They're an acronym: Strength, Perception, Endurance, Charisma, Intelligence, Agility, and Luck. This is how your character will interact with the world. These special stats are also in every single Fallout game for the next 30 years. Learn them once, and with minor alterations, you'll be good to go. These special stats all range from 1 to 10. Over the course of the game, you'll have the opportunity to raise each one by 1 point. This special point allocation is slightly different to my last video. If you want to know what all these mean and how they will impact you in the game, I'm going to blast through them super quickly. Blast. Fallout. Sorry. Strength. This is for weapons that we hold to hit things with, often called melee in video games. But we're going to go with guns in Fallout, so the only reason we need strength is to carry stuff. This is why I start with 2 or 3 strength. When you get a companion, make them carry all your crap. Also, when you get your power armor, spoilers, not spoilers, you'll get bonus 3 strength. There's also a procedure, hint hint, to get another point. You'll be fine with 3 strength. Perception. This stat is really important to unlock so much of Fallout 1. This stat adds to your percentage chance to hit with the gun. You'll also notice things like hidden objects and traps, and also unlock additional dialogue and quest options as you spot lies and other deceptions. You'll also get an additional bonus to lockpicking, which is a huge source of loot and one of my favorite skills. Because of all of this, I'm going to whack Perception to 7. Endurance. Fallout works on a random number generator, and sometimes those numbers are just going to ruin your day, regardless of your stats, your weapons, or your armor. Your enemy will score a critical hit and you'll fold like a pack of cards. Now, the higher your endurance, the more and bigger bad days you can take. But I have an alternative view. I'll chuck my endurance at 4 and just reload a couple of times at the start of the game, because later on you'll get weapons which will kill people before they can even attack. You will find armor which makes you harder to hit. This means endurance will play less and less of a role over the course of the game in Fallout 1. That said, if you were worried about getting frustrated at the start, take 1 or 2 off Perception to help you out here. Charisma. There are only a handful of charisma checks over the course of the game, but so few that it's just not worth bothering with the stat. You'll be instead putting your points into the speech skill, so just dump your charisma to 1. Intelligence. This is the second most important stat in Fallout. Your skills rather than your special stats are going to affect the majority of the events in the game, and your intelligence stat gives you more skill points every level. You will then exponentially outstrip someone with lower intelligence, as each level you make will be worth twice or more of someone else's. We are going to put this to 9. Intelligence will also affect so many dialogue choices and allow you to find other solutions in the game. Agility is the most important stat in the game. Remember I said the combat is turn-based? Well, every action you want to take each turn costs a resource called action points. The more action points you have, the more times you can fire that gun. And agility determines how many action points you have per round. Agility will also add to all your combat skills and make you harder to hit by increasing your armor class. Agility right now is going to 8, but we're going to get it to 10 before we leave character creation. Lucky last is luck. Yes, another pun. Remember I said those enemy critical hits will ruin your day? Well, luck increases your chance to do critical hits and ruin everyone else's day. More often than not, you'll also unlock some of the best abilities later on, and you'll discover more and better random cool stuff and hidden encounters. Again, we're gonna whack this to 8. Traits. Down here, you can get 2 abilities known as traits. Let me show you what we're gonna grab. Small frame. You are going to be able to carry even less, so dump all your stuff on your companion, but you'll get an additional +1 to agility. Totally worth it. The last one you're going to get is gifted, which is going to give you +1 to every stat, but take 10% off every skill. This does make the start of the game slightly tougher, but your high intelligence skill will catch you up in no time. In a level or 2, you have the same number of skill points and 7 extra special stats. So many people consider this trait cheating, which means it is perfect for your first playthrough. Alright, take a look at your stats if you want. You could lower any of these 10s to 9s and pop the points in either endurance or strength to carry more, or both. None of these choices are bad. We get to specialize in 3 skills. For our first playthrough, we are going to take small guns. Once you start finding big guns and energy weapons, you can choose to start specializing in one of those. But in the meantime, crank it all into small guns. In fact, I once just went through my entire playthrough just using small guns. I put it up to like 150% and I was just fine. Second skill, lockpick. Look man, I'm an explorer. I love to explore every nook and cranny in games, and that includes places I'm not supposed to go. Lockpicking is the most fun source for extra money and loot. The other is gambling, but that means sitting and reloading your game for hours rather than exploring the world and getting rewarded for doing so. Get lockpicking to 80 and then get some lockpicks, which will give you a bonus 20%. Boom, every locked door and container is yours. Speech. I'm assuming the main reason that you are here to play this game is to get a great Fallout story, like the show. No matter how low your charisma, your speech skill is what is going to unlock the vast majority of dialogue and quest options in the game. This is absolutely essential to a first playthrough, and I argue speech is essential to any playthrough. Getting started. I please need you to be patient and thorough at the start of the game. You're gonna get knocked down and you're gonna be like Cap and be like,
I could do this all day.
Remember this difficulty line? You will start below this line as you have the lowest stats and the least resources and that skill penalty. A red roach farts in your general direction and you're going to be sucking dirt. But remember, all that intelligence we got, our first goal is to get to level 2 ASAP to get a ton of those sweet skill points. That means killing everything you see that's not a townsperson. Look, you can kill them too, but a lot of them offer quests which are worth way more XP than what they do dead. Alright, go watch the start of the game, then come on back here. Okay, we are outside the vault now. We gotta search. See that body on the ground just in front of you? Make sure you roll over it. There's no way to tell that you can actually roll over something. You're gonna have to be searching with your mouse on likely objects. You'll get that little pop-up menu option when you've found something. Press I for inventory. You're gonna move your gun, you equip your gun, and click and drag your knife over the top. Now, by right-clicking on my gun, I can create different maneuvers. I can do a target maneuver, which later on, as you get very high gun stats, you'll be able to select different areas, like shooting someone in the eyes, and that has such a high chance of doing criticals. Combined with your crazy luck score, you are going to be wiping the floor with people. But you can see here down here, the action point cost of firing your gun once. What I want you to do is press B. This is going to be one of your most essential keys, and we're going to swap to our knife. Now you notice here my swing here has an action points of 3. So again, we're going to right click through and see the different maneuvers. We have an aimed swing for 4 action points. We have a thrust for 3 points and then an aim thrust. We're just going to leave it on a basic swing. Oh, hello, we have a rat that came up. Going to waste bullets. So let's go through and I'm going to show you what you're going to do with the first one. I'm going to click swing, so we've got left mouse, and we get a target. And it shows me that I have a 46% chance to hit. Now, we are going to, once we level up, we're going to put all our points into small guns, and that percentage chance is going to go up higher and higher every time. But right now, if I had my guns, it would only be about 53% chance to hit. It is not worth the bullets. So let's just swing at this thing, miss. See, down here it shows you, tells you what's going on, miss. And come on. Oh, I hit it. But it didn't. Oh, there it is. It's dead. 9 hit points. And when you press enter, you'll be out of combat. What you're trying to do is to get close enough to get a monster's attention, and it will initiate combat and waste all its action points coming to get you. If you have guns, you're just shooting them as you're retreating across the board. There is a trope at the start of video games where the first quest is to always go into a basement and kill rats. I don't know if Tim Kaine and crew were taking the piss out of us here, but we are now outside of the vault and killing rats. When I asked for your patience, I really meant it. All these rats are worth 25 XP each here, and then there's enough of them here that's going to take us halfway to the next level. So here's the second big thing. You have in-game 150 days to save your vault, which is more than enough to do everything and explore. What's going to burn time? Waiting to heal. Reading skill books and traveling in the map costs time. You gotta read. So heal with stim packs and avoid traveling back and forth, and you'll be more than fine. And here is my biggest tip. Save often. Like almost all video games with violence, you are gonna die often. Think of it like Tom Cruise in Edge of Tomorrow, but instead, you are gonna start at your last save. So save often. Use your quick save. Every time you enter a new area, save again. Every time you finish a combat, save again. This way, you're only going to lose at the most just a couple minutes of your time. Cycle through all your save slots in case something happens. It is called save scumming. For pickpocketing, bad combats, whatever, just quick save and quick load. Just do it. At Shady Sands, there are a couple things to do. First, you want to talk to Katrina. Then you want to go get Ian. When you get Ian, talk to Ian about Junktown and the hub, and they'll be added to your map. You'll also see that you have options to barter. You can search the town, talk to people, and get quests. But your main goal right now is to find 2 ropes. One is on a bookshelf, and the other is inside a hut near the Brahmin pens. Hopefully you're still with me, and you have made it to level 2. Which skills should you start with? Look, if you are getting really frustrated about reloading your game, then you're going to want to start putting things into small guns. But if you're happy to reload as you get your butt kicked in combat for a while, then level up lockpicking. Perks to take. Awareness as a first-time player is so key to learn about the enemies in the wasteland. Toughness also helps. Quick pockets is great. Perks to avoid. This is controversial because I told you to get to level 2 and 3 as quickly as possible, but I do not believe you should take Swift Learner. The reason is that there is a level cap in the game. There is more than enough XP to get to the level cap, and all this means is that you're going to get to the level cap well before the game ends, and you're just not going to have as much fun. Next tip, shoot them in the eyes. Once your small guns gets high enough, aim for the head. When it gets even higher,
go for the eyes, boo! Go for the eyes! Rusk!
And get those massive criticals. You always want to keep at least 2 or 3 rope on you.
Name one thing you're gonna need to roll for.
Always reload your gun after combat, so you start your next fight with the full clip. Don't waste precious AP reloading a gun at the start of combat. Looting. All you need to do is check for better guns and armor, then just grab money and healing camps. You really don't need to be carrying 20 leather jackets around with you. And I can't stress enough, talk to everyone. With those subtitles on, you should be able to see people talking, and that will guide you to them. Companions. There is friendly fire in the game. Do not give your companions a weapon with burst firing option. They are idiots and they will unload, and you will get caught in the crossfire, and you will be reloading because of them every single time. If they are blocking a doorway, change formation. Companions also care about what you do. So if you murderize everyone in a town, be prepared that some of the companions will not like it. After you're done with Shady Sands, head back to Vault 13, do a bunch of low-stakes quests for XP, soak up the world and get some more loot. Then head to Vault 15, if you have 2 ropes. My main hint here is get the hunting rifle off the bathroom floor. And that's it, you are on your own. I really hope you enjoy this game. You've got nothing and no resources at the start, which can make your limited options a little bit frustrating. But the game is also trying to teach you how to play it within the limited framework before it dumps more and more stuff on you. Yes, the UI is clunky, but I've played games today that are just as clunky. But what we are here for is the world and the story, because they are amazing. The experience of climbing over that power curve is amazing. Good luck solving the problems of the wasteland. Just remember,
War never changes.
Want to set the world on fire.
I actually got to meet up with my longtime channel sponsors, Linda and Rob of notesandclips.com. They are the nicest people, and I am so grateful for their support. Now, Linda gave me a bunch of her stationery boxes, and now I want to show you what's inside the navy tartan box. The box itself is beautiful. You are going to want to keep this. In fact, I think I'm going to keep all my drawing pens in here. Let's go in. Ooh, very nice. Very nice. Let me, oh, wow. The presentation is beautiful. Even Apple would be jealous of this one. Hope you can see that. I don't know if you can see this, but even inside, it's a gift just for you. This is solid. Now, let's go through what's in here. First up, you've got this card that you can customize. You can also add a personal message on the website, and it doubles as a postcard. Then you've got these super handy sticky notes. You can never have enough sticky notes. Trust me, my wife's monitor looks like Times Square, and she is very successful, so she would know. Then there's this really nice notepad. I can't stress enough how useful an actual physical notepad is. This one's 50 pages. Really nice. That'll keep you going. Then we have Linda's planner stickers. I've watched videos of unboxings and all the experts agree the absolutely unequal quality of notesandclips.com's stickers. Here's a secret. Linda actually hand makes these and prints them out at home, and they are of the highest professional quality. It is unbelievable how good these stickers look, and they're incredibly useful. Next up, we have two unruled 120 GSM notebooks. Unruled is the best for high-level note-taking like mind maps, and this is really nice paper. I actually think I could probably watercolor paint. And believe me, I know paper. I am a paper snob. This pen is beautiful. I'm going to keep this on me. And when people want to borrow a pen, I'm going to whip this out and they're going to be like, whoa, this dude's money. Very nice pen. Then a happy birthday card and envelope. Why do you want a blank happy birthday card and envelope? So you don't have to shop for one at the last minute when you forget someone's birthday. This is like giving someone a solution to a future problem. What a stationery box. This is an incredible gift. And what do Linda and Robert, notesandclips.com, charge for this? $30. Come on now. And it gets even better. And if you use the code BADOWER25, you'll get the best current site-wide discount. Notesandclips.com is all the gifts you will ever need to give. Go to notesandclips.com or their Etsy store, etsy.com/UK/shop/notesandclips. Thank you, Notes and Clips, for being a sponsor on today's video. Tim Kaine was the director of Fallout 1. He also created Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which I consider one of my favorite games of all time. I should really do a guide on that someday. There is a meme that anytime someone mentions Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, someone reinstalls it. Anyway, the man is a legend, and if you're interested in how video games work, Tim Kaine has a fantastic YouTube channel where he waxes lyrical about all sorts of topics. I treat Mr. Kaine's channel like a podcast and just listen to him talk about the medium that he loves while I draw. Thank you again for watching my video.
Want to set the world on fire.